not really sure where I'm going to put the camera to talk today. I really didn't have much to talk about. Actually, I've been doing a lot of coffee, and I've been snuffing my brains out. I did that a lot over the holidays and anything because it's more acceptable when you're around company and stuff. Although the people I was around were smoking cigarettes, and that almost makes me nauseous. Isn't that terrible? I can smoke a pipe and smoke a cigar and stuff, but someone smoking cigarettes makes me nauseous. But they were smoking, well, the funny cigarettes don't make me nauseous. They were smoking really some cheap brand. And man, that was terrible. But, or something like Decade or something. I don't really know. Well, anyway, so we just had a couple over for the holidays. We always do if you come for New Year's Eve, you got to stay over. So they stayed over. And we had a pretty good time. Everybody was, New Year in it pretty good. Here in Parkville, I guess there's no rules on fireworks and stuff because they were going off all around us. So we have a few, so we took them out and we let them off. And there was 10 shots in the, whatever they are, those shooting balls, So we each had some, and as we were shooting them off, we got rid of all of our things that we hated about 2020. So then we shot off another 10 for the other 20. So we all put off a lot of smoke, but the neighbors, they didn't complain because they were shooting off something of their own. So it was kind of fun. And I'm smoking a cigar because I'd been smoking a pipe. And I'd been clenching it. And it was a little short pipe. And it was one of my Sujis. And Sujay, I guess. And it just kind of has that little bit of a bend. Well, as I was lighting it, I had Navy rolls in it. Dunhill Navy rolls. They were like 11 years old, so it was time to smoke them. But anyway, I had those Navy rolls, and I was smoking this pipe, and I was working. I'm cleaning my furniture. For Christmas, I got a new little mean green machine, so I'm testing it on some of my furniture. And as I did that, I relit my pipe. And I was doing this with it because I was clenching it and lighting it with one hand while the other hand was doing something else, And I'm missing my hair over here. I set my hair on fire. It was just down enough, and I went like that and lit that pipe up real quick, doing a stupid thing. And hair smells terrible when it's burning. So I'm going to have to redo my hair, I think, to a new style, one that's real short on this side and long on this side. Of course, I don't have the long, so that's not going to work. But anyway, but see, I've always said that girls have different problems, but some guys have long hair, so and their beards, oh my, the mustaches and beards must once in a while get a little bit of a ember on them and stuff, because I know Kevin's, when his beard's long, and he has had it really long at one time, he has, gotten little burn holes in it and stuff. But, and one year I had taken and used hairspray at the same time and lit a match, just because I have a little, candle usually going somewhere. So I had sprayed my hair in the in the living room, picked up a match and brought it up close to where the actual fumes from that hairspray was. In the old days, I mean, we used to have hair out to here in the 60s, and we used a can of hairspray on each hairdo. And so it's a Cuban round, Taste of Havana. It's a Maduro. It's a very strong, very heavy cigar, but I was smoking that Navy roll, so I must be in the mood for very heavy tobacco today, because I didn't even blink an eye at picking this up and starting to smoke it. I did have a problem in that I took and cut the end off wrong, and I usually just cut a tip of the piece off. I don't really cut off a whole end like other people do, because I just kind of put it there and smoke the edge of it. Because I look stupid doing this. I'm not a very good cigar smoker anyway. I like it for the nicotine rush. Oh man, but then I'm a nicotine queen. I love it for the nicotine rush I get from it. But as far as actually being comfortable sitting around smoking one, I can't get through a whole one to begin with. Kevin's down in his office downstairs, so what I'll do in a little while is take this down to him and he'll finish it off. So that's good. But anyway, I'm just rattling on, aren't I? So what'd you get for Christmas? Everybody got some fun things. I hope we got okay things. I mean, when you get to be our age and stuff, there just really isn't nothing that you want. If it's not consumable, don't send it to me. Now I did get a couple of neat things. I got some nuts from Wes. Nuts about you, and that was really nice because when we had people over, we had nice nuts to share with them. That does not sound right, does it? And then Stephanie sent me a gorgeous quilted blanket. I don't know if you saw that. She's also doing one for a charity, which was really kind of neat. I need to do something like that. I'm in the middle of working on what I call a rag rug, and she was doing a rag blanket, but it's different. This is like doing latch hook, only you use your scraps of material. And it doesn't look very good right now, but it really makes a great rug on the floor. And especially right there after in the bathrooms, by the tub and stuff, because it absorbs every little bit of everything. And plus, I have a thing about wasting material. I don't know what it is. I think it's a disease. Oh, I have TAD, tobacco acquisition disease, but I've got that one kind of under control. I would love for people to send me bits and pieces of the new tobaccos out, but I don't want a tin anymore. I'm good. I just need little bits and pieces to try it. A couple bowls, And so I got that under control. And then there's PAD, pipe acquisition disease. And I'm trying to keep that under control. I always have bought one pipe a year at least, 2 maybe. And this year, I'm really kind of in a bind. I'm a couple years behind on my Dunhills because my friends in the UK used to bring them over for me. And, they'd bring 2 or 3 pipes and whatever ones I didn't want, I usually could find a buyer for, so it wasn't no big deal. And got bad news from them, which was just, actually, I didn't even hear from them. I heard from their sister when they were returning things and going through their belongings. They came across the Christmas card that I sent them and a little, present. And so I heard from his sister that I'm not sure of how one's doing, but the other one had passed away. And then I'm hearing bad news or not at all from my people. I'm sorry, the phone is kind of wiggly. I'm not hearing much from my people out of the country, and I'm not used to not hearing from them at least. So I'm trying to stay in touch with everybody I can, but all I hear is bad news, and so it's going to be a long year, isn't it? I mean, now we're getting to see, because I wouldn't have known about them even being sick, until years from now, if it wasn't for the fact that I always see them every year. And think about how many people all over the world that we know that we might not even know they're not there anymore, and that's scary. So anyway, so that took a dark turn again. Seems like they always take a dark turn. This must be a time of darkness. I got to get into the 2021 and get rid of all the bad juju and get with the new good juju, eh? Anything else that I can think of? Not really. Today I'm smoking Navy rolls. Oh, I just dumped some off. Damn it. I had some out there drying. And I've been smoking some Royal Yacht. This is from '09. And this one is from, I opened it in October 14. So they're not that old, but they're as old as I want them to get, especially because they're so dark. After a certain point, they reach a point of darkness, and then the tobacco, to me, I call that darkness. they won't get any better. So it's time to smoke them if you got them. It's horrible. Now, like I say, so there's pad acquisition, got off track, didn't I? And now am I mad? Material acquisition disorder? Oh well. I also have AAD, accessory acquisition disorder. So, hey, we all got the problem with the pipes, don't we? You know, why is it that we get so much tobacco? It's because everywhere has such good deals, on tobacco. It's like I get onto Pipes and Cigars website, and all of a sudden, I'm cleaning my furniture, so you'll have to excuse that. I don't want to get wet, because it's wet. But it's just kind of terrible that this year has been like it is, to know that, well, there again, I have had too much caffeine and too much nicotine, and so I got to go eat some lunch. And I think I'll have a grilled cheese sandwich. I'll tell you, Robert keeps showing off his grilled cheese sandwiches, so I think I'm going to go get one. Happy, joy, I'm watching you. And I think I'm going to start all over again, if you guys would like. I don't know. Start with my background, how I started at 4 years old, dancing with the monsters, meeting Mr. Bog, because he really was an Irish. My dad used to sell Briar, Mr. Kelly, or Mr. Wells. With Dad selling Briar and Mom, his family in tobacco, it was a lot of fun when I grew up. So I think I'm going to tell all the tales again about, the Ireland bogs, and because it's going to be in March pretty soon. I always bring out my Mr. Bog pipe, which is actually root from trees from bogs, and there's something about that briar that was very desirable. But you got to remember, we are talking about in the 60s and stuff. So briar was a little bit different. You couldn't just mail order it. You could, but you never knew what you got. And the big companies, they bought the best, the biggest, and the futures on a lot of good briar. So, and that's what my dad sold, was not just briar, but briar futures. Anyway, so I would talk about different traveling we did when we went to Greece, where the ash, white ash in the mountains was really desirable for quite a while. I don't know how that's changed or if it has changed, but we went there, in the 60s. In traveling in the 60s, I think people don't understand as much about traveling and doing business in other countries. You have to have a lot of certificates, a lot of, you got to get permission to work and to sell and to do things in other countries. You can't just go in and start selling stuff. You have to get all the right certificates and stuff. And so traveling in the 60s was different too, because we're still only talking about, there was a lot of war still going on. And in the 50s too, because we were there in the late 50s. It was only 10 years after the war ended. And being in Europe, where as the new world was coming into being, you also got to remember the Cold War, a lot of places where at one time everybody could go, all of a sudden were closed down because of the war and because of the Cold War. It was kind of, and I think sometimes that's why Dad traveled with us as a family, because there was so much espionage and all that going on and stuff that, our papers got looked at carefully, and we never stayed in any great big hotels or anything like that. We stayed with the help. We didn't spend the money to go to sightseeing places or anything like that. Where we saw was the other side of Paris. We were in France, but we didn't go to Paris. That wasn't where the briar was, or where things were. So it was a great life, man. But I'm old now, and so a lot of the things that happened for me will never happen for you guys. You guys will never remember your first candy bar or the first car you saw, or computers as they came into being with the cards or with the little tapes that had little things cut out. Where telegraph from place to place. I can remember a guy coming to the door with a telegram. That was not uncommon. So, and you guys are going, well, what the hell is that telegram? So I say, I think I grew up in the best time, and I've come to realize that everybody says that they grew up in the best of times, but I got to see the birth of rock and roll. Got to see really some great acts. In small venues. We were talking about the Beach Boys, and then we were talking about another group, and it was like, oh, I remember them. We saw them on a barge on the Paducah Dam. Things like that. It's kind of neat to have the memories that come with being at my age. I'm going to start getting pictures out too, so that'll help. So when I get them out, I'll start explaining them and stuff. And don't be surprised, because I was carrying around a pipe from the time I was like 4. But you never know what I had it in. I had one picture that had me in it, and I'm carrying a little silver box, and I'm like, okay, what was that? And what it was Crest was one of the first toothpaste that came out that had that iridescent on it. And I think I was 6 or 7, but it was such a pretty box that's what I was carrying my pipe and my tobacco in, was in that toothpaste box. And it's fun. Happy, joy, come down memory lane with me.